Hello everyone, it's that time of the year, late in winter, early spring, where it's time to prune the Buddleia. I'm stood here next to a pretty large Buddleia davidii, a white variety, so it has these lovely white panicles of flowers, and I'm a bit torn as to whether to prune this lovely specimen, because as you can see, it is on a border with a neighbor, so it provides that bit of a screen, that bit of privacy, and it just sort of breaks up the space quite nicely because there aren't any large shrubs quite near to it or right next to it. And so therefore, I did wonder whether I should just leave it to grow away as a small tree and flower as it does high up. But saying that, already the last summer, after it had been cut down in the spring before that, the flowers were very high up. So when it came to needing to deadhead them once flowering finished, and wanting to just cut a few flowers for a vase inside, it became really difficult reaching those specific flowers and those clusters of beautiful white flowers. And although a white variety such as this is absolutely magnificent when it is at the prime of its flowering time, when those flowers die down, they turn a very ugly looking brown. So there's a bit of give and take there. So I have decided, I think the best will be for me to cut it right down, perhaps to my shoulder height. Now I'm about 1.8 meters tall, so just under 6 foot. And I guess putting it down to my shoulder will allow the plant to regrow and flower kind of at my head level or a little bit higher. These can truly be cut down all the way, almost to the base. They actually flower on new growth, and so it's those new stems that will carry the new season's flowers. So you can be quite harsh with it really and cut it all the way down. I don't think I want to do it on this occasion because, like I said, it is masking this boundary fence, and so I still want to have this covered for the next few weeks before spring growth kicks into action. So I will just bring it down to about shoulder height, and perhaps if I find that this summer it grows too abundantly and too high up, then next year we'll cut it all the way down. So come along as I show you how I'm going to be pruning this down, and I'll speak about a few things to look out for, but ultimately these plants are super easy. They do their own thing. They don't require too much faffing or any specific requirements, in my opinion. I find them very easy to grow. Hopefully you do too. So today's video is really just showing you how to prune it down, and come with me on this journey while we do that, and let's get going. So just a bit more of a close-up. As you can see, the stems are not super thick, so I don't think I'll be needing a saw or anything like that. I can probably get away with just using a pair of secateurs like this. I'm sorry about the wind. It is a very windy morning. Hopefully the sound is not too distorted. So I'm going to place my camera back here and get going with the pruning process. So as with all shrubs and flowering plants, when it comes to pruning, woody ones that is, it's always a good idea to give it a bit of a goblet shape. So you want the branches growing outwards, you want a space in the middle to allow as much light and air to penetrate the structure. So work with that, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you what shape and what structure you want, what size you want, and just the overall look you want. So don't be too scientific, don't become too overwhelmed with all the details. Prune away anything that looks dead, diseased, or damaged. The same applies to roses, and have a look at this video on my channel. I don't know which way I'm pointing, maybe that way, to have a look at this video that I did on rose pruning a few weeks ago, and I'm going to apply the same principles, removing all the dead, damaged, and diseased branches, as well as those branches that are perhaps a bit too small. And so that brings me to the fourth D, which is diameter. So anything that's kind of pencil thickness or less, you want to prune away because it's not really actively contributing to the overall structure. So let's go. Let's start and look for any dead branches. I'm not specifically going to show you any. I'm just going to work my magic, and you're welcome to follow along as I progress through pruning this lovely davidii white Buddleia. Seems I will, after all, be needing the saw again. must say, there seem to be little clusters of leaves on certain branches, which is giving me air pruning vibes. I don't know if I'm confident enough yet to do that, so let's just prune it for now. And down the line, we might air prune it, or is it called cloud pruning? I'm not so sure now, where you have little clusters of leaves to make it look quite artsy. It's quite a lot of material to have to remove, so I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with it now that I've pruned it all down. I guess I'm gonna have to take it to the recycling center. So there you go, looking much better, much more compact, and probably the right thing to do to get those flowers. So what I wanted to just show you up close is just a little bit more on the structure on the inside. So as you can see, we've got main stems going there and at the back there. So maybe a good idea to just remove all this kind of inward growing bits, just to let air come through the middle. But within a short amount of time, the growth will anyway probably head on into the middle, so it's not going to make too much of a difference, but it's a good practice to follow. So there you go. I'm happy with that height because it is in line with the fence, so I don't want to cut too much below that, just so that I don't have to look at this bare fence for too long before growth commences. So I would say that's a good start, and even though it's early in the year, if I feel like I need to prune a bit more a bit later on, then that won't do any harm. It always feels a bit drastic when you've pruned, but you just have to trust the process and know that ultimately the plant will be better off for it, and thank you for it. And also it will just be so much more manageable and look so much better, especially in a medium or small garden. So follow along for more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel where I do loads more videos like this. It will be fantastic to share the experience with you. Also, let me know in the comments if you have your own Buddleias. Perhaps you grow them, perhaps you know them, perhaps you love them, and whether you think I've pruned too much or perhaps I can go a little bit more. It would be great to hear from you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.